The Girl in the Hospital Basement. My name is Emma, and this is a true story that happened to me 5 years ago. I was 19, working the night shift as a cleaner at St. Mary's Hospital. It was an old building, over 100 years old, with creaky floors and flickering lights. The nurses used to tell stories about ghosts, but I never believed them. I thought they were just trying to scare me. Until that night. It was around 2 a.m., and I was cleaning the 3rd floor. My boss, Mr. Jenkins, called me on the radio. "Emma, we're short-staffed. Can you grab some supplies from the basement storage?" I didn't like the basement. It was dark, cold, and smelled like mold. But I needed the job, so I said yes. I took the old elevator down. It rattled and groaned, making my stomach twist. When the doors opened, I stepped into a long, dim hallway. The lights were yellow and flickered like they were about to die. The air felt heavy, like someone was watching me. I shook it off and walked to the storage room at the end of the hall. The storage room was packed with boxes, old medical equipment, and dusty shelves. I started looking for the cleaning supplies when I heard a sound, a soft whimper like someone crying. I froze. "Hello?" I called. No answer. The sound came again, louder this time, from the corner of the room. My heart was pounding, but I thought maybe someone was hurt. I had to check. I moved some boxes and found a rusty metal door I'd never seen before. The whimpering was coming from behind it. The door had no lock, just a heavy handle. My hands were shaking as I pulled it open. A blast of cold air hit me, and I saw a narrow staircase going down into darkness. The crying was clearer now, like a girl sobbing. I should have run. I should have called someone, but something made me go down those stairs. Maybe it was curiosity, or maybe it was like I was in a trance. I used my phone's flashlight and started walking. The steps creaked under my feet, and the air got colder with every step. At the bottom, there was another hallway, even older than the one upstairs. The walls were cracked, and there were pipes leaking water, dripping onto the floor. The sobbing was loud now, echoing through the hall. I followed it to a door at the end. It was wooden with scratches all over it, like someone had clawed at it. I didn't want to open it, but my hand moved on its own. I pushed the door, and it creaked open. Inside was a small room, lit by a single bulb hanging from the ceiling. In the corner, sitting on the floor, was a girl. She looked about 15, with pale skin and long, tangled black hair. She was wearing a dirty hospital gown, and her arms were wrapped around her knees. She was crying, her face buried in her hands. "Hey," I said softly. "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" She stopped crying and slowly lifted her head. Her eyes were empty, like black holes, and her face was so pale it looked like she hadn't seen the sun in years. She didn't say anything, just stared at me. My skin crawled and I took a step back. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice shaking. She tilted her head like she was confused. Then she whispered, "They left me here." Her voice was so quiet, I barely heard it, but it sent chills down my spine. "Who left you?" I asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she stood up, and I saw how thin she was, like she hadn't eaten in weeks. She took a step toward me, and I backed up until I hit the wall. "Please," she whispered. "Help me." I wanted to help her, but something felt wrong. The air in the room was so cold I could see my breath. The bulb above us started flickering, and every time it went dark, she seemed closer. I blinked, and suddenly she was right in front of me, her face inches from mine. Her eyes weren't empty anymore. They were full of pain, anger, and something else I couldn't understand. I screamed and ran for the door. I didn't look back, but I could hear her footsteps behind me, fast and uneven, like she was chasing me. I ran up the stairs, my phone falling out of my hand. I didn't stop to pick it up. I just kept running until I reached the storage room. I slammed the metal door shut and leaned against it, breathing hard. The footsteps stopped, but I heard her voice through the door. "Don't leave me," she said over and over. I ran to the elevator and went straight to the security office. I told the guard, Mike, everything. He looked at me like I was crazy but grabbed his flashlight and said he'd check it out. I begged him not to go alone, but he told me to stay there. He was gone for 20 minutes, and when he came back, his face was pale. "There's no girl down there," he said, "but I found this." He handed me my phone. The screen was cracked and the flashlight was still on. I quit my job the next day. I couldn't go back to that hospital, but I needed answers. I started asking around, talking to old nurses who used to work there. One of them, Mrs. Carter, told me something that made my blood run cold. She said St. Mary's used to have a secret ward in the basement back in the 1950s. It was for patients they didn't want anyone to know about, people with mental illnesses or diseases they couldn't cure. Some of those patients, especially young girls, were left there, forgotten, until they died. The hospital covered it up, and the ward was sealed off. Mrs. Carter said there were rumors about a girl who died down there. Her name was Lily. She was only 14, locked away because she had fits no one could explain. They said she screamed for help, but no one came. After she died, workers reported seeing her ghost, always in the basement, always asking for help. I don't know if the girl I saw was Lily, but I'll never forget her face. Sometimes at night I hear her voice in my dreams whispering, "Don't leave me." I've never told this story to anyone until now. If you're watching this, be careful. Some places hold on to their secrets, and some secrets don't want to stay buried.